I've always had a complicated relationship with sleep. Not insomnia exactly, more like fear. Fear of what happens when I close my eyes. Fear of losing control. Fear of the places my mind goes when I'm not watching. That's probably why I took the job at Morpheus Research Institute in the first place. Some twisted part of me thought cataloging other people's sleep data might help me understand my own demons. I was wrong. The facility had been closed for 3 years when I arrived for my first shift. The legal battles had finally settled, the company dissolved, the building sold to a medical equipment distributor who needed the space cleared before renovations. My job was simple. Organize 30 years of research data, flag anything sensitive, prepare it all for archival or destruction. Simple. Boring. Perfect for someone who doesn't sleep well anyway. The building felt wrong from the moment I stepped inside. It wasn't just the emptiness, though that was part of it. The fluorescent lights still worked, humming their eternal industrial song. The air still circulated through unseen vents. But there was something else. A stillness that felt deliberate. Like the building itself was holding its breath. The reception desk was exactly where the building manager said it would be. So was the file room. So was the box with my security badge, clipboard, and a set of keys that unlocked every door in the facility. "You'll be alone," the manager had told me. "Building's empty except for you. You okay with that?" I'd nodded. Alone was better. Alone meant no one asking why I looked so tired. No one making small talk. No one noticing when I flinched at sudden sounds. Alone was safe. I pinned the badge to my jacket, Maya Chen, data analyst, Clearwater Archives, and picked up the clipboard. The first week's work was already outlined. Sort through the physical files in storage room 3B, create an inventory, separate research data from administrative records. Standard, straightforward, mindless. I made my way to the 3rd floor. The layout of the building was typical institutional design. Research labs and observation rooms on the lower floors, administrative offices on the 2nd, file storage and server rooms on the 3rd and 4th. The actual sleep study chambers were in the basement level, but those had been cleared out years ago, or so I'd been told. Storage room 3B was larger than I expected. Rows of filing cabinets stretched back into shadows, each one labeled with years and project codes. The overhead lights flickered when I hit the switch, then settled into that familiar fluorescent hum. I set my bag down, pulled out my laptop, and got to work. The first few hours were exactly as boring as I'd hoped. Personnel files, budget reports, equipment inventories, ethics committee meeting minutes. Everything was meticulously organized, dated, cross-referenced. Morpheus Research Institute had been nothing if not thorough. I created folders on my laptop, scanning and categorizing. Rain continued to drum against the windows. The building settled around me with the occasional groan of old pipes and shifting foundations. By midnight, I'd worked my way through 3 full filing cabinets. My eyes burned, my back ached. I was reaching for my water bottle when I noticed something odd. A gap. Not a missing file, a missing drawer. The filing cabinets were all uniform, 4 drawers each, but one cabinet only had 3. The bottom position was empty. Not removed, not damaged, just absent, as if the cabinet had been built that way. I knelt down, running my fingers along the space where the drawer should have been. My hand touched something, a hidden latch. The false bottom of the cabinet swung open, revealing a compartment I hadn't known existed. Inside was a cardboard box, unmarked except for a single handwritten label. Project Somnus, Phase 4. Do not archive. My hands trembled as I pulled the box free. It was heavier than it looked. Inside were data drives, dozens of them. External hard drives, thumb drives, even some older formats, CDs, mini DV tapes, all labeled with dates ranging from 3 to 4 years ago. And beneath the drives, a leather journal. I opened it. The handwriting was elegant, controlled, the kind of penmanship that belongs to someone from an older generation. The name on the inside cover read, Dr. Vincent Hale, Principal Investigator. The first entry was dated 4 years ago. We finally received approval for Phase 4. The Ethics Committee was hesitant, understandably, but I've convinced them that the potential breakthroughs justify the risks. If we can successfully induce synchronized REM states across multiple subjects simultaneously, we may finally access what Jung called the collective unconscious. Not as metaphor, as measurable reality. The implications are staggering. Shared dream spaces, direct mind-to-mind communication during sleep, perhaps even the ability to guide, to heal, to reprogram trauma at its source. Tomorrow, we begin with 12 subjects, all volunteers, all fully informed. I feel like Freud must have felt, standing at the edge of the unconscious for the first time. We are about to take the next step. I should have stopped there, should have closed the journal, reported the hidden materials to my supervisor, gone home. But I didn't, because the next entry was dated 2 weeks later, and the handwriting had changed. Still controlled, still elegant, but faster now. Urgent. Subject 7 is exhibiting unusual REM architecture. Her brain activity during sleep doesn't match any known pattern. It's as if she's cycling through REM stages at triple the normal speed, but the depth of each cycle is far beyond what should be possible. More concerning, when we synchronized her sleep session with Subject 3, their EEG patterns became identical. Not similar, identical. For 17 minutes, 2 separate brains showed the exact same electrical activity. They both reported the same dream, the same room, the same shadows moving at the periphery of perception. This is no longer theoretical. I set the journal aside and picked up the first hard drive. My laptop was old, but it had multiple port types. I plugged the drive in. The drive contained video files, hundreds of them, all labeled with timestamps and subject numbers. I clicked on the earliest file. The video quality was clinical. High definition, well lit, multiple camera angles stitched together. The timestamp read, 3 years, 4 months ago, Session 001, Subject 04. The scene showed a sleep study room I recognized from the building's layout. A comfortable bed, medical-grade monitoring equipment, cameras in every corner. A young man lay sleeping, electrodes attached to his head, chest, and hands. His breathing was slow and regular. A voice spoke from off-camera. Male, calm, educated. Dr. Hale, I assumed. Subject 4, this is your second synchronized session. We've matched your sleep cycle with Subject 9. You should begin entering REM state in approximately 90 seconds. I watched as the subject's eyes began to move beneath his closed lids. The EEG monitor showed the characteristic spiky patterns of REM sleep. REM initiated, Dr. Hale's voice said. Synchronization holding at 87%. Excellent. For several minutes, nothing happened. Just a man sleeping while machines monitored his dreams. Then his lips moved. There's a door, the sleeping subject whispered. Dr. Hale's voice sharpened with interest. Can you describe it? Red. Dark red. Like old blood. There are marks on it. Scratches. Someone tried to get out. Where does it lead? The subject's breathing quickened. The EEG patterns intensified. Down. It leads down. I can hear. He stopped. His eyes moved rapidly beneath their lids. I can hear someone crying. A child. No, multiple children. Subject 9 is reporting the same imagery. A different voice said, female, nervous. The synchronization is holding. Remarkable, Dr. Hale breathed. Subject 4, can you open the door? The subject on the screen began to shake. I don't want to. It's just a dream, Dr. Hale said soothingly. You're safe. Open the door. The subject's hand twitched. His breathing turned to panting. There are stairs going down into black. The crying is louder now, but it's not just crying anymore. They're saying something, all of them, the same words. What are they saying? The subject's mouth opened, but the voice that came out wasn't his. It was a child's voice, high, terrified, echoing as if spoken by dozens of throats at once. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. The video cut to static. I sat back from the laptop, heart hammering. The file had ended abruptly. Corrupted? Or deliberately cut? I checked the file directory. The next recording was labeled Session 001, Subject 09. I opened it. Same timestamp, different room, different subject, a woman in her 30s, also asleep, also covered in electrodes. And as I watched, she began speaking the exact same words as Subject 4. There's a door. Red. Dark red. Like old blood. Word for word. Pause for pause. Even the breathing matched. I watched 12 more videos, all from the same session. All 12 subjects describing the same dream. The same red door. The same stairs descending into darkness. The same chorus of children's voices. Don't wake up. By the 13th video, my hands were shaking too badly to click the mouse. I needed air. I stumbled out of the storage room and into the hallway. The fluorescent lights seemed brighter than before, harsh and accusatory. The rain had intensified, hammering the windows like it was trying to break through. I leaned against the wall, forcing myself to breathe slowly. It was just old research data. Strange, yes. Unsettling, absolutely. But ultimately, just recordings. Just dreams. Just subjects in a study that ended years ago. They were fine. They'd woken up. The study had been shut down, everyone had gone home, and I was alone in an empty building looking at ghosts on old hard drives. That's what I told myself. The sound had come from downstairs, from the direction of the basement level, the level that was supposed to be empty. I stood in that hallway for what felt like an hour, but was probably only 2 minutes, listening, waiting for another sound. Nothing came. Old building, I told myself. Pipes settling. Wind pushing through ventilation shafts. There were 1,000 rational explanations for unexpected sounds in a facility this size. But rational explanations don't make your skin crawl. They don't make the hair on your neck stand up. They don't make you feel like you're being watched by something you can't see. I should have left, should have grabbed my bag, locked the building behind me, and never come back. But I've never been good at walking away from things that scare me. That's probably another reason I don't sleep well. The stairwell was concrete and metal, industrial and cold. Emergency lighting cast everything in a dim yellow glow. My footsteps echoed as I descended, each level taking me deeper into the building. Third floor, second floor, first floor, basement level. The basement corridor was darker than the upper floors. Half the lights were out, and the ones that worked flickered intermittently. The air was colder here, heavy with disuse and the chemical smell of industrial cleaning products. Doors lined both sides of the hallway. Each one had a small window at eye level and a label. Sleep Chamber 01, Sleep Chamber 02, and so on. I walked slowly, checking each window as I passed. Empty. All of them. Just bare rooms with stripped beds and disconnected equipment. Until I reached Chamber 07. The room wasn't empty. Someone was lying on the bed. My hand found the door handle. Locked. But my keys. I still had my keys. The master set that opened every door in the facility. I should not have opened that door. But I did. The room was in use, not abandoned like the others. The monitoring equipment was active, screens glowing softly in the dimness. An IV stand stood beside the bed, half-full bag of clear fluid connected to a line that ran beneath the blankets. And on the bed, connected to electrodes and sensors and breathing tubes, was a woman. She was asleep. Or something like sleep. Her eyes moved beneath closed lids, rapid, constant. REM sleep that showed no signs of stopping. The monitor showed brain activity that spiked and surged in patterns I didn't understand, but instinctively knew were wrong. A clipboard hung on the end of the bed. I picked it up with trembling hand. Subject 07. Continuous REM state. Day 1247. 1247 days. 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days. This woman had been in REM sleep for over 3 years. Oh my God. The woman's lips moved. I stepped closer, leaning over the bed. Her lips were dry, cracked, but they were definitely moving, forming words I couldn't hear. I leaned closer still. Don't wake up. The same words, the same warning from the recordings. Her eyes snapped open. I jerked backward, knocking into the IV stand. But the woman's eyes, they weren't focused, weren't seeing. They stared straight ahead, pupils dilated and fixed, while beneath her lids I could still see her eyes moving in REM patterns. She was still asleep. Asleep with her eyes wide open. I ran. Out of the room, down the corridor, up the stairs, my footsteps echoing like gunshots in the confined space. I didn't stop until I was back in the third-floor storage room, door locked behind me, breath coming in ragged gasps. The laptop was still open, the video files still waiting. My phone was in my hand before I consciously decided to call anyone. But who? The police? And say what? That I found a woman in a coma in a closed research facility? That she'd been there for 3 years and no one knew? Except someone did know. Someone was keeping her alive, maintaining the equipment, refilling the IV. Someone was still running the experiment. No signal. Of course. The building was old, walls thick, basement level basically a bunker. I looked at the laptop screen, at the dozens of unwatched video files, at Dr. Hale's journal, still open to his early entries. I flipped forward, scanning for answers. The entries became longer, more detailed, more obsessive. Descriptions of synchronized dreams that lasted hours, subjects reporting contact with entities in the dream space, shared experiences that couldn't be explained by suggestion or coincidence. And then, 6 months into the study, we've made a terrible mistake. The synchronized REM states have become persistent. Subject 7 entered REM sleep 48 hours ago and hasn't emerged. We've tried every standard protocol for inducing wakefulness. Nothing works. Her brain remains locked in deep REM, cycling through dreams at impossible speed. The other subjects are frightened. Some are refusing to participate in further sessions, but Subject 7's data is extraordinary. Her brain has learned to exist entirely in the dream state. She's accessing something, some layer of consciousness we've never documented. We need to understand this before we wake her. If we wake her. If we can. I flipped faster, the entries blurring together. Subjects 3, 9, and 11 entering the same persistent state. The ethics committee demanding the study be halted. Dr. Hale refusing. The board of directors threatening legal action. Dr. Hale claiming he was on the verge of a breakthrough. And then, dated 3 years and 4 months ago, the day the facility was officially closed. They're shutting us down. Fools. Cowards. They don't understand what we've discovered. The subjects aren't trapped. They've found something in the deep dream. A place. A collective space where consciousness meets consciousness without the barrier of individuality. They're happy there. Peaceful. Subject 7 smiles sometimes. Did you know that? In her sleep. She's somewhere beautiful. I won't let them destroy this. I won't let them wake the subjects prematurely and risk catastrophic psychological damage. The data must be preserved. The research must continue. If they won't understand, I'll make them understand. I'm staying with my subjects. We'll see this through together. Into the deep dream. Into the place beyond waking. That was the final entry. Not one set of footsteps. Multiple. Slow, synchronized footsteps approaching. I killed the lights in the storage room and moved to the door, pressing my ear against the cold metal. They were coming up the stairs. Multiple people, moving in perfect synchronization. Each footfall landing at exactly the same moment, creating a single, unified sound. Silence. I held my breath. They were trying the door. Whoever, whatever was out there wanted in. The handle stopped moving. I waited until I couldn't hear them anymore, then waited another 5 minutes. 10. 15. When I finally risked cracking the door open, the hallway was empty. But on the floor, directly in front of my door, someone had left something. A photograph. It was a group photo of the research subjects. 12 people in comfortable white clothing, standing in what looked like a common room. All smiling, all healthy, all with completely black eyes. Not a photography error, not a shadow. Their eyes had been carefully colored in with black marker, each pupil expanded and filled until no white remained. On the back, written in elegant handwriting I recognized from the journal, "We're all dreaming now. Why won't you join us?" I grabbed my laptop, my bag, the box of drives and the journal, and I ran. Down the hallway, down the stairs, through the first-floor corridor. My footsteps echoed in the empty building, and beneath them I could hear others. Synchronized footsteps somewhere else in the facility, always just out of sight. The exit was ahead. The glass doors that led to the parking lot, to my car, to escape. I hit the crash bar. Locked. I tried my keys. Nothing. The doors required a security code or an electronic badge, and mine had been deactivated, or had never been activated for exit. I spun around. They were standing at the far end of the hallway. 12 people, all wearing hospital gowns, all standing in a perfect line, shoulder to shoulder, all with their eyes wide open, all asleep. They began walking toward me, in perfect synchronization, each foot lifting and falling at precisely the same moment, each breath inhaled and exhaled in unison. "Subject 12, they said. All of them. The same words from 12 mouths, the same inflection, the same voice. Dr. Hale's voice. "You've been watching the recordings. You understand now. The deep dream is real. The collective unconscious is real. We're all here together, experiencing pure consciousness without the prison of individuality." I looked around desperately. A maintenance corridor branched off to the left. I ran for it. The corridor was narrow, lined with pipes and electrical conduits. It twisted and turned, and I followed it blindly, just trying to put distance between myself and those synchronized sleepwalkers. I burst through a door and found myself in a server room. Banks of old equipment lined the walls, still humming with power. Monitors displayed endless streams of data. And in the center of the room, in a wheelchair, connected to a dozen different machines, was Dr. Vincent Hale. He was ancient. The journal photo I'd found showed a man in his 50s, distinguished and confident. The person in the wheelchair was at least 80, maybe 90. Decades older than he should have been. His eyes were closed. EEG sensors covered his head. An IV fed into his arm. He was asleep. But he was smiling. "Subject 12, his mouth moved, but the voice came from speakers around the room. "I'm so glad you came. We've been waiting for you." What have you done?" "I've proven it. The deep dream is timeless, spaceless. 3 years out here has been 30 years inside. We've built entire worlds. We've explored consciousness in ways no one thought possible. And we're not alone. There are others in the deep dream. Entities, intelligences. They've been waiting for someone to find them. The study subjects. You've kept them asleep for 3 years. They're not asleep. They're more awake than anyone has ever been. They're experiencing true freedom. No pain, no fear, no limits. Just pure, infinite consciousness. They're trapped." The figure's smile widened. "No, you are." The red door. The same door from the recordings, from the shared dream. It was on every screen, and slowly it was opening. "The subjects need a new member, Subject 12. The collective is incomplete. We need someone to document our research from the inside. Someone who already can't sleep. Someone who's been running from their own unconscious for so long." They surrounded me. 12 sleepwalkers with open eyes that saw nothing and everything. "Join us," they said in unison. "Join us in the deep dream. Be free of consciousness. Be one with all." One of them, Subject 7, I realized, the woman from the bed, held out her hand. On her palm was a small white pill. "Just take this. Go to sleep. We'll be waiting for you. All of us. Together. Forever." I looked at the pill, at the subjects, at Dr. Hale's smiling, sleeping face, at the red door on every screen, now fully open, darkness beyond beckoning like a throat. I grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall and smashed the nearest window. The alarm was deafening. The subjects recoiled from the sound, their synchronization breaking. They stumbled, confused, still asleep but disoriented. I climbed through the window, cutting my hands on the glass, and dropped into the night. I ran to my car, fumbled with my keys, got inside. The engine started on the third try. I peeled out of the parking lot, tires screaming on wet asphalt. In my rearview mirror, I could see them. 12 figures standing at the broken window, watching me leave. Still asleep, still dreaming. I drove for 30 minutes before I felt safe enough to pull over. A 24-hour diner just off the highway, bright lights and normal people, and the smell of coffee. Real, solid, awake. Inside, I found a booth in the back corner and ordered coffee I didn't touch. My hands were still shaking. My jacket was torn. Blood from the window glass had dried on my palms. The other customers gave me strange looks but didn't approach. I pulled out my laptop. The hard drives were still in my bag. The journal, the photograph with the blackened eyes. I needed to understand what I'd witnessed. I needed proof. I needed someone to believe me. I started with the basics, researching Morpheus Research Institute. The official story was simple. Private sleep research facility, operated for 30 years, shut down 3 years ago due to ethical concerns and financial irregularities. The building had been sold, the company dissolved, the principal researcher, Dr. Vincent Hale, had disappeared. Disappeared. Not died, not retired. Disappeared. I dug deeper, found news articles about the closure, the families of research subjects demanding answers, lawsuits that had been quietly settled, non-disclosure agreements, sealed records. But nowhere did I find any mention of 12 subjects still in the facility. Nowhere did I find anyone looking for them. I opened the video files again. This time I didn't watch the dreams. I watched the metadata, timestamps, file creation dates, camera angles. The recordings had continued after the facility was officially closed. For 3 months after closure, someone had been recording the sleeping subjects, documenting their persistent REM states, monitoring their synchronized brain patterns. And then, abruptly, the video recordings stopped. But the data logs continued. Text files, thousands of them. Daily logs of vital signs, brain activity, dream reports transcribed from something. The subjects couldn't speak. They were asleep. So how? I opened one of the logs. Subject 07, day 847. Dream report. The city is beautiful today. We've built new gardens in the eastern sector. Subject 3 designed them. Flowers that exist in colors we have no names for in the waking world. Dr. Hale says we're approaching the threshold. Soon we'll make contact with the others. The ones who've been here longer than we can comprehend. They've been waiting for us. They have such things to show us. The reports were too detailed, too specific. No one was transcribing dreams. The subjects were writing them themselves. But they'd been asleep for years, unconscious, unmoving except for REM patterns. Unless. I cross-referenced the logs with the building's network activity. The facility had been closed, but the servers were still active, still connected to the internet, still uploading data. To where? I traced the IP addresses, followed the digital breadcrumbs through proxy servers and encrypted channels. The data was being sent to 12 different locations, 12 homes. The families. The subjects' families had their loved ones back, physically back, but still asleep, still in the facility, while something, some part of them, Some consciousness digitized and transmitted was communicating from the deep dream. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I shouldn't have answered. I did. Subject 12. Dr. Hale's voice. Not from speakers this time. From my phone. You can't run from this. You've seen the deep dream now. It's in your mind. In your thoughts. You'll carry it with you wherever you go. How are you calling me? We're everywhere now. The network is vast. Every sleeping mind is a door. Every dream is a window. You've spent your whole life afraid of sleep, Maya. Afraid of what you might find in your own unconscious. But we can help you. We can show you that there's nothing to fear. Only beauty. Only peace. Only the infinite. The subjects, their families think they're communicating with them. They are. We've given them back their loved ones. Better than before. Free from pain, from aging, from death. They can live forever in the deep dream and still touch the waking world through the network. It's a gift. It's a prison. Is it? Ask yourself, Maya, what is consciousness? Where does it live? In the brain? In the body? Or in the space between sleeping and waking, in the collective unconscious that connects us all? We're all just signals in the end, electrical impulses, and signals can be transmitted, shared, merged. You're insane. I'm awake, truly awake, for the first time in my life, and soon, so will you. The line went dead. I looked around the diner, the other customers, the waitress refilling coffee, the cook visible through the kitchen window. Normal people, living normal lives, sleeping normal sleep. How many of them had strange dreams last night? How many had seen a red door? I grabbed my things and left. I don't know why I went to the first address. Curiosity? A desperate need for answers. Some self-destructive impulse I've never been able to control. Probably all three. The address belonged to Subject 7, Kei Yamada. The woman I'd found in the sleep chamber, eyes open but still dreaming. Her house was in a quiet suburban neighborhood, 2-story colonial, well-maintained lawn, lights on in the downstairs windows despite the early morning hour. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, watching the house. A figure moved past one of the windows, then another. People were home, awake. I got out of the car. The front door was answered on the second knock. The man who opened it was in his 60s, kind eyes, tired face. Behind him I could see family photos on the walls. A woman, 2 children, grown now. A life lived and remembered. "Can I help you?" he asked. I'm looking for information about Morpheus Research Institute, about the sleep study subjects. I understand your wife was... His expression changed, hardened. We don't discuss that. The settlement included non-disclosure agreements. I'm sorry, but I can't help you. He started to close the door. She's still there, I said. In the facility. She's still asleep. The door stopped. You don't know what you're talking about. I was just there, tonight. I saw her. Sleep Chamber 07. She's been in continuous REM state for over 3 years. That's impossible. Keiko is upstairs. She's been home for 2 years. She recovered. She's better now. Can I see her? Something flickered in his expression. Fear? Doubt? She's sleeping. I won't disturb her. Then show me a photo. A recent photo. I think you should leave. Please, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just need to understand what's happening. People are in danger. Your wife might be in danger. He studied my face for a long moment. Then he stepped aside. 5 minutes. The interior was exactly what you'd expect. Comfortable furniture, books on shelves, the smell of coffee and something baking. Normal. Except for the computer setup in the corner. High-end equipment, multiple monitors, ergonomic chair, speakers, a keyboard and mouse that looked barely used. On the main monitor, a text window was open. A conversation. Keiko, good morning, love. Did you sleep well? Not really. Strange dreams again. Keiko, tell me about them. Later. I need to make breakfast first. You want anything special? Keiko, just knowing you're there is enough. The photo was recent, maybe a few months old. It showed the man, Robert, and a woman. Keiko, presumably. They were at a park, smiling at the camera. But something was off about the photo. The lighting on Keiko's face didn't quite match the environment. The edge of her outline was too sharp, too clean. It was a composite, a digital insertion. She talks to you through the computer, I said quietly. She's recovering. The doctor said typing is easier than speaking right now. Her motor functions are still... He stopped, swallowed hard. She's getting better. Have you seen her? In person? Since she came home? She needs rest. The study damaged her sleep patterns. She has to sleep most of the day. But she's here. She talks to me. She knows things only Keiko would know. Memories we share. Our children's names. The way she says goodnight. His voice broke on the last word. They told me she'd wake up fully soon. They promised. I just have to be patient. I just have to keep her comfortable while she heals. And she is healing. Every day she remembers more. Every day she sounds more like herself. Mr. Yamada, I said gently. Where is she? Really? Someone was coming down the stairs. A figure emerged from the darkness of the second floor. Keiko Yamada, or something wearing her shape. She moved smoothly, gracefully, her eyes open and fixed straight ahead. She wore pajamas. Her hair was brushed. She looked peaceful and completely asleep. She walked past us without acknowledgement, moving to the computer. She sat down in the ergonomic chair, placed her hands on the keyboard, and began typing. Her eyes never blinked, never moved. She was sleepwalking. No, she was sleep-living. On the screen, new text appeared. Keiko, I had the most beautiful dream last night. We were in a garden. The flowers sang. Do you remember the garden where we had our first kiss? It was like that, but more. Everything here is more. She's not awake. She's here. She's home. She's talking to me. She knows me. She's broadcasting from the deep dream. Her body is here, but her consciousness is still in the facility, still connected to the others, still part of Dr. Hale's experiment. You're lying. Keiko's hands kept typing. Keiko. Robert, who are you talking to? She couldn't see me. Her eyes were open but unseeing. She was receiving visual information from somewhere else, somewhere that didn't include this living room. Keiko. Robert? Is someone there? Are you safe? I need to go. but I was already outside, running back to my car. The image of Keiko's empty eyes burned into my mind. I checked 4 more addresses that night. All the same. Subject 3. Home with his elderly mother, who proudly showed me how her son recovered enough to communicate through text-to-speech software. He sat in a wheelchair, eyes open, staring at nothing, while the computer spoke in his voice about beautiful places and infinite peace. Subject 9. Living in an assisted care facility, the nurses explaining how she'd made remarkable progress despite remaining in a semi-conscious state. She painted, they said, beautiful abstract art. She'd hold the brush in her sleep-stiffened hands and create swirls of color while her eyes tracked things no one else could see. Subject 11. In his childhood bedroom in his parents' house, surrounded by equipment that monitored his vitals and kept him alive while he rested. His father played me recordings of his voice, or something using his voice, describing worlds of crystal and light, cities that existed in dreams, entities that welcomed them with love. Every family had been contacted 2 years ago, told their loved ones were recovering, given the option to bring them home with full medical support, all expenses covered by a Research Foundation grant. Every family had said yes. Every family believed their loved one was healing. And every subject was still asleep, still dreaming, still connected to the network that linked them all back to the facility. Back to Dr. Hale. Back to whatever they'd found in the deep dream. I returned to my apartment as dawn was breaking. I lived alone, always had. Fewer complications that way. Fewer people asking questions when I didn't sleep. I locked the door behind me, drew the curtains, checked every window. Then I opened my laptop and started documenting everything. Every video I'd watched, every log entry, every subject location, every detail of what I'd seen in the facility. I created a document, uploaded it to multiple cloud services, sent copies to my own email address and 3 others I trusted. If something happened to me, someone would know. Someone would investigate. My phone buzzed. 12 new messages, all from unknown numbers, all identical. Subject 12. Come back to us. Come home. Come dream. I tried to sleep that day. Managed maybe 20 minutes before jerking awake, heart pounding, the image of the red door vivid behind my eyes. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. The door. The stairs leading down. And now, faintly, I could hear them. The children's voices. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. 3 days passed in a blur of caffeine and paranoia. I didn't return to the facility. I didn't visit any more subjects. I stayed in my apartment, researching, documenting, trying to find someone who would believe me. The police were no help. I called the non-emergency line, tried to explain. They said they'd send someone to check the facility. They never called back. Journalists ignored my emails. Too strange. Too unbelievable. The families wouldn't talk to me. I was disturbing their peace, threatening the fragile hope they clung to. I was alone with the truth. And I wasn't sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, the dreams came faster, stronger. The red door was closer now. Sometimes I'd jerk awake to find myself standing in my own apartment, eyes open, walking toward the computer. I'd started setting alarms, every 20 minutes, keeping myself jolted back to wakefulness before the deep sleep could claim me. But I was deteriorating. I could feel it. My thoughts were slower, my reactions dulled. My body was shutting down from exhaustion. I almost didn't answer, but the caller ID showed a name I recognized. Dr. Sarah Chen, sleep specialist. I'd found her name in the Morpheus Research Institute files. She'd been on the ethics committee that tried to shut down Dr. Hale's study. I answered. Ms. Chen? Maya Chen? Yes, Dr. Chen, I know who you are. I know what you found. We need to meet. Tonight. There's something you need to understand about Project Somnus before it's too late. How did you... The facility has been monitoring you since you entered it 3 days ago. Every keystroke, every email, every call. If I know about you, then Hale knows about you. And if Hale knows, then they're already preparing a place for you in the deep dream. What do I do? Stay awake, at all costs. The synchronization process requires sustained REM sleep. As long as you don't enter deep sleep, they can't pull you in. Meet me at the address I'm texting you. Midnight. Come alone. Why should I trust you? Because I'm the one who tried to stop this 3 years ago. Because I know what Hale really found in the deep dream. And because, Ms. Chen, you're not Subject 12. You're Subject 1. The line went dead. The address Dr. Chen had sent was an all-night coffee shop in a commercial district. Bright lights, security cameras, public, safe. I arrived early, ordered coffee I couldn't taste, sat where I could see both entrances. Dr. Sarah Chen arrived exactly at midnight. She was in her 50s, professional, tired eyes that had seen too much. She sat across from me without preamble. "You look terrible," she said. "I haven't slept in 3 days." "Good. Keep it that way." She pulled out a tablet. "I'm going to show you something. It's going to be disturbing, but you need to see it to understand what you're dealing with." She pulled up a video file. The timestamp showed it was from 4 years ago, before Project Somnus, before the synchronized dreams. The video showed a sleep study room. A young woman lay on the bed, electrodes attached, being prepped for a standard sleep observation. The woman was me. I've never been part of a sleep study. Yes, you have. You just don't remember. Watch. On the screen, younger me settled into sleep. The monitors showed normal sleep patterns. Stage 1, Stage 2, deep sleep. Then REM. And then something changed. The EEG patterns began to spike. Wild, chaotic activity that looked like a seizure, but wasn't. Younger me's eyes moved frantically beneath closed lids. Her breathing accelerated. Dr. Hale's voice came from off-screen. Subject 1 is entering an unprecedented deep REM state. Brain activity is off the charts. I've never seen anything like this. Younger me began to speak. There's a door. Red. Dark red. It's calling to me. I can hear voices on the other side. Children. They're scared. They're warning me. Don't wake up, they're saying. Don't wake up. Subject 1. Can you tell me more about... Younger me's eyes snapped open, but I was still asleep. They're here, my younger self said. The ones who've been dreaming forever. They want to show me. They want to show all of us. The place beyond consciousness. The deep dream where we all connect. The video cut to static. What happened to me? You were our first case of spontaneous deep dream access, Dr. Chen said quietly. You came to us 4 years ago complaining of insomnia and nightmares. We brought you in for a standard sleep study. But the moment you entered REM, you went somewhere no one had ever documented. You accessed what Hale would later call the collective unconscious, the deep dream. I don't remember any of this. We had to wake you, forcefully. Pharmaceutical intervention, electrical stimulus. It took 6 hours. When you finally came back, you were different, traumatized. We referred you to psychiatric care, but you refused. You left the institute, and we never heard from you again. Until 3 months later, when Hale came to me with a proposal. He'd been studying your data. He believed you'd proven the existence of a shared dream space. He wanted to create a study that would deliberately induce what you'd experienced accidentally. Project Somnus. You approved it. The ethics committee did. I voted against it. But I was outvoted. Hale was convincing, charismatic. He promised controlled conditions, constant monitoring, the ability to pull subjects out at any sign of danger. But he couldn't. No, because the deep dream doesn't want to let go. Once consciousness touches it, it holds on. The subjects who entered it didn't want to leave. They reported peace, beauty, unity, everything Hale promised. But they couldn't come back. And eventually, Hale stopped trying to bring them back. Why are you telling me this? Because Hale has been searching for you for 3 years. You were the first, the one who opened the door. He believes you're the key to fully merging the deep dream with waking consciousness, to spreading it beyond the 12 subjects, to everyone. That's insane. Is it? Think about it. 12 subjects, all dreaming together, all connected. Their families report communication, interaction. The subjects are living 2 lives, one in the deep dream, one puppeting their bodies in the waking world through sheer unconscious will. They've learned to exist in both states simultaneously. That's not life. That's not consciousness. That's evolution, Dr. Chen interrupted. That's what Hale calls it. The next stage of human consciousness. Freedom from the limitations of individual awareness. Unity with the collective unconscious. Immortality through shared dreaming. She leaned forward. And you're the proof it can happen naturally, without years of conditioning, without gradual synchronization. You touched the deep dream and came back. Hale thinks if he can study you, understand how you did it, he can refine the process. Make it safe. Make it controllable. Make it universal. I'm not going back to that facility. You don't have to. The facility is just a physical anchor. The deep dream exists everywhere, in every sleeping mind. Hale and the subjects can reach you anywhere, as long as you sleep. Then I won't sleep. You'll die. The human body can't survive indefinitely without sleep. You're already showing symptoms, tremors, cognitive decline, hallucinations. Another week and you'll start experiencing microsleeps. Brief moments of unconsciousness you can't control. And the moment you slip, even for a second, they'll be waiting. There has to be a way to stop this. There is, but you're not going to like it. She pulled up another file on her tablet. The deep dream is a shared space. It exists because multiple consciousness are synchronized within it. But it has a foundation, an anchor point. The first consciousness to enter it, the one who opened the door. Me. You. Your initial contact created the pathway. Every subject who followed was building on the connection you established. If we sever that connection, if we close the door you opened, the entire structure collapses. How do I close it? You have to go back in. Enter the deep dream consciously. Find the door and shut it from the inside. If I go in, I might not come back. Probably not. The deep dream is stronger now than it was when you first touched it. 4 years of sustained consciousness building architecture, creating gravity. It will pull at you, try to keep you. Hale and the subjects will fight to stop you from closing the door. Why would they fight? If I close it, they wake up, they go back to their lives. Dr. Chen's expression was grim. They don't want to wake up, Maya. They're happy there. The deep dream is everything they ever wanted. No pain, no fear, no death. Just infinite consciousness in infinite space. To them, you're not a savior. You're a threat. You're trying to destroy paradise. And if I don't? If I just keep running? The network is growing. The subjects are learning to pull others into synchronized dreaming. Small touches for now, shared dream imagery, recurring symbols. But it's spreading. Give it another year, and anyone who sleeps near a connected subject risks synchronization. Give it 5 years, and the deep dream might be able to reach anyone, anywhere. Humanity won't sleep anymore. We'll all be dreaming together. Forever. She closed the tablet. You opened the door, Maya. You're the only one who can close it. I returned to Morpheus Research Institute at 3 in the morning. This time I wasn't sneaking. I wasn't afraid. I was ready. Dr. Chen had given me what I needed. A sedative strong enough to force deep REM sleep. A neuromonitoring device that would track my consciousness. And a protocol for waking me if I stayed under too long. She'd also given me a warning. The deep dream is built from collective unconscious. It will show you what you fear most, what you desire most. It will try to keep you. Don't believe anything you see. Don't trust anyone you meet. And whatever you do, don't let them convince you to stay. The 12 subjects were waiting for me in the basement corridor. All of them standing in a line. Eyes open, still asleep, still dreaming. Subject 1, they said in unison. Dr. Hale's voice through 12 throats. You've come home. I've come to end this. You can't end what should never have been stopped. You opened the door. You showed us the way. Now let us show you what lies beyond. Subject 7, Keiko, stepped forward. She held out her hand. Come with us. See what you've been running from all these years. See what waits in the deep dream. I took the sedative from my pocket. I'll see it, but on my terms. I swallowed the pill. The effect was almost immediate. My legs weakened. The corridor tilted. The subjects' faces blurred and multiplied. Don't fight it, they whispered. Let go. Let the dream take you. We'll all be together soon. My vision darkened. I felt hands catching me as I fell. Felt myself being carried. Heard the soft beep of medical equipment as I was connected to monitors. And then I was falling. Down. Down through darkness. Down through layers of consciousness. Through memory and thought and fear and desire. Down to the place where all minds meet. I opened my eyes. I was standing in a city, but not any city that existed in waking reality. This was architecture built from thought itself. buildings that curved and spiraled according to emotional logic rather than physics, streets that led in directions that had no names, light that came from everywhere and nowhere, casting shadows that moved independently of any source. It was beautiful, terrifyingly beautiful. "Welcome home, Subject One." I turned. Dr. Hale stood behind me, but not the ancient, sleeping figure I'd seen in the wheelchair. This was Hale as he saw himself, young, vibrant, powerful. His eyes glowed with an inner light. "This is what you've been afraid of all your life. This is what you ran from 4 years ago. The place where all consciousness connects. The deep dream. It's not real. It's more real than anything you've ever experienced in the waking world. Here, thought becomes substance. Will becomes reality. We are limited only by imagination." He gestured, and the city transformed around us. Buildings rose and fell like breathing things. Gardens bloomed from nothing, flowers singing in colors I had no names for. People, or things that had once been people, moved through the streets, their forms shifting and flowing like liquid light. The 12 subjects have been building this for 3 years. But they're not alone. Others have been here much longer. Consciousnesses that learn to exist permanently in the dream state. Some human, some other. "You're trapped here," I said. "You call it paradise, but you can't leave. Why would we want to? Look around you, Maya. We've created perfection. No hunger, no pain, no aging, no death. We exist as pure consciousness, free from the prison of physical form. And we can still touch the waking world when we choose. We have everything. You have nothing. You're asleep, helpless, being kept alive by machines while you dream your lives away. And you," Hale's smile was gentle, pitying, "you're torturing yourself, refusing to sleep, refusing to dream, refusing to accept that this is what you've always wanted." The city shifted again. We were suddenly standing in a park. Trees that hummed with contentment, a stream that ran with liquid silver, and on a bench, reading a book, was someone I recognized. My mother. She'd died when I was 12. Cancer. I'd watched her waste away, watched the fear in her eyes, watched her slip away piece by piece until nothing was left. But here she was, healthy, happy, real. She looked up and smiled. "Maya, I've been waiting for you. You're not real. You're just what I remember. What I wish." "Does it matter?" Hale asked. "In the deep dream, memory and reality are the same. Your consciousness creates her, and she exists. You can talk to her, touch her. She can tell you she loves you. She can tell you she's proud of you. All the things you never got to hear before she died." My mother stood, walked toward me. Her arms opened. "I've missed you so much, sweetheart." I wanted to run to her, wanted to feel her arms around me, wanted to believe this was real. But I'd come here for a reason. "Where's the door?" I asked Hale. His smile faded. "You don't want to find the door, Maya." "Where is it?" The red door was never about opening something. It was about closing something off. About protecting the deep dream from contamination. From people like you who would destroy it rather than embrace it. Show me. The park dissolved. My mother's form flickered and faded, her expression turning sad. Don't leave me again. Please don't leave me alone. Then she was gone. The city around us began to change. The beautiful architecture crumbled. The singing gardens withered. The flowing light forms of the other dreamers scattered like frightened animals. We were standing in front of a building. Old, institutional, familiar. Morpheus Research Institute. You want the door? Hale's voice was no longer gentle. It's in the place you fear most. The place where all this began. The sleep chamber where you first touched the deep dream. Chamber 1. Yes. But know this, Maya. If you close that door, you destroy everything we've built. Every consciousness that has found peace here will be ripped back to waking life. Back to pain. Back to fear. Back to death. You'll be condemning us all. I'll be freeing you. We don't want freedom. We want this. We choose this. No one asked you. I walked toward the building. The interior of the dream facility was a twisted reflection of the real thing. Hallways stretched too long. Doors led to rooms that shouldn't exist. Gravity was optional. Time moved in stutters and loops, but I knew where I was going. Down. Always down. The 12 subjects appeared as I walked, not together, individually, each one trying to stop me with words. Subject 3 showed me his mother, alive again, begging him not to leave. Subject 9 showed me paintings she'd created, impossible beauty captured in dream pigments. Subject 11 showed me a woman he loved, who loved him back, something that had never happened in waking life. We're happy here, they all said. Why do you want to take this from us? Because it's not real. It's real to us. Isn't that enough? I reached the basement level. The sleep chambers stretched ahead, but only one door was visible now. Chamber 1. The door was red, dark red, like old blood. I reached for the handle. All 12 subjects appeared, blocking my path. Don't, they said in unison. Not Hale's voice anymore. Their own voices. Desperate, afraid. Please, we've built lives here, found peace here. If you close the door, we lose everything. You'll wake up. You'll have your real lives back. Our real lives are empty. Subject 7, Keiko, stepped forward. Do you know what I was before? A middle-aged woman with arthritis and regrets. Here, I'm anything I want to be. Young, strong, free. My husband in the waking world gets to talk to a version of me that's happy, that loves him, that isn't bitter about growing old. How is that worse? Because it's a lie. All consciousness is a lie we tell ourselves. The waking world is just electrical signals interpreted by your brain. How is this any different? I didn't have an answer. Maybe she was right. Maybe consciousness was just interpretation. Maybe the deep dream was as valid as waking reality. But it didn't matter, because people deserved the choice. I'm sorry, I said, and I opened the door. The room beyond was empty. Not empty like an unused space, empty like the absence of existence. A void where nothing was because nothing could be. And in the center of that nothing was the door I'd seen 4 years ago. The door I'd closed. The door that protected waking consciousness from the deep dream. 4 years ago, you touched something you shouldn't have. Hale's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. You found the boundary between conscious and unconscious, between individual mind and collective consciousness. And you were so afraid of what you found that you slammed the door shut and ran. I walked toward the door. It was smaller than I remembered, more fragile. But you couldn't close it completely. A crack remained, and through that crack I was able to guide the subjects, to show them what you'd found, to help them build a world in the space you discovered. This was never meant to exist. Says who? Evolution? Nature? God? Or just your fear? The surface was warm, alive. I could feel thought and memory and dream pulsing beneath my palm. And on the other side, I could hear them, the children, still crying, still warning. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Who are they? I whispered. The first dreamers, Hale said quietly. Consciousness that entered the deep dreams so long ago that they've forgotten how to be individual. They exist as pure collective now, pure shared thought. They've been here longer than human language, longer than human civilization. They're the foundation of the collective unconscious. The reason dreams share symbols across cultures. The reason archetypes exist. And they're afraid. They're warning us. The deep dream is beautiful, yes. Peaceful, yes. But it's also hungry. It wants more consciousness, more minds to share in its existence. If we let it spread too far, if too many people synchronize, the boundary between dreaming and waking dissolves completely. Humanity would merge into one vast consciousness. No more individuals, no more separation. Just eternal, infinite, unified dreaming. The children have existed like that for eons, and they remember, dimly, what they lost, what they used to be. Individual. Yes. I closed my hand around the door handle. So I close it, lock it, make sure it never opens again. You can't, Hale said. The door isn't physical, it's psychological. It exists in your consciousness. As long as you know it's there, as long as you remember what lies beyond, the door remains. The only way to truly close it is to forget, to sever your own connection to the deep dream completely. How? By never sleeping again. I'll die. Eventually. But you'll take the connection with you. The crack will seal. The subjects will wake up. The deep dream will recede back into the unreachable unconscious where it belongs. There has to be another way. There isn't. You are the door, Maya. You always were. Behind me, the 12 subjects watched silently. I thought about what Hale had said, about consciousness being interpretation, about reality being subjective. I thought about Keiko living a double life, one in dreams, one in waking, both real to her. I thought about my mother, recreated from memory, telling me she loved me in a paradise built from thought. I thought about sleeping, finally sleeping, forever. No, I said. I turned away from the door, turned to face the subjects. I'm not closing the door by dying, and I'm not closing it by destroying what you've built. There's a third option. What option? Hale's voice was wary. Choice. Real choice. The families don't know their loved ones are still asleep. They think they're recovering. They're being lied to. But if we tell them the truth, if we show them what's really happening, they can decide. Keep their loved ones connected to the deep dream, or wake them up fully. And the door? Stays open, but guarded, monitored. People can access the deep dream if they choose, under supervision, with full knowledge of the risks. But it doesn't spread. It doesn't consume. It becomes a tool, not a prison. The subjects looked at each other. "You'd let us stay?" Keiko asked quietly. "If it's truly what you want, if your families agree, if you understand the risks and accept them, yes." "And if we choose to wake up?" "Then you wake up, fully, permanently. You get your lives back, all the pain and fear and death that comes with them, but also all the choice, all the growth, all the real connections." Subject 3 stepped forward. "I want to wake up." Then Subject 9. "I want to wake up." Then Subject 11. One by one, they chose. Not all of them. 4 decided to stay in the deep dream with their family's informed consent. But 8 chose to return. And in the waking world, their bodies began to stir. I woke up in Sleep Chamber 1, surrounded by medical equipment and Dr. Chen's worried face. "Welcome back," she said. "You were under for 6 hours. We almost pulled you out." The subjects, 8 of them are waking up. It's happening slowly, but their brain patterns are shifting back to normal sleep cycles. The other 4, their families have been informed. They've made their choices. Dr. Chen helped me disconnect from the monitors. What about Hale? Still asleep, still in the deep dream. He chose to stay. But without the subjects to maintain it, the architecture is collapsing. He's running out of time. And me? You closed the door. Not completely. It can't be closed completely. But you've locked it, made it inaccessible without deliberate effort. The deep dream won't spread. It won't pull anyone in accidentally. I stood. My legs were weak, but they held. I can sleep now? You need to sleep. Your body is shutting down from exhaustion. But yes, the connection is severed. When you sleep, you'll just dream normal dreams. I left the facility as the sun was rising. Outside, in the parking lot, 8 families were gathered, waiting for their loved ones to wake up fully, to come home. Not everyone got a happy ending. Subject 7, Keiko, chose to stay in the deep dream. Her husband accepted it. He visits her body every day, talks to her through the computer, and finds peace in knowing she's happy, even if she's not truly there. Dr. Hale died 3 weeks later. His body simply stopped, unable to sustain itself any longer. But sometimes, people report strange dreams, visions of a city built from thought. And in those dreams, they see an old man, smiling, finally at peace. I got into my car. I drove home. I locked my door. I drew the curtains. And for the first time in 4 years, I slept. I dreamed of normal things, a garden, a book, my mother's face, fading but still loved. And in the distance, barely audible, I heard children laughing. Not warning anymore, just playing, just dreaming, just free. End.